cleared in Parliament, about 18 billion shillings. I think it's in the dailies today, where some provisions for State House and the presidency were approved in Parliament 12 days before the end of the financial year. It is on all of the papers, and we'll be looking at that briefly. But when you come back to the finance bill, Hans,
yes,
my issue is the level of comprehension of the Finance Bill 2026 and the clarity that we see, or lack of, because we've had MPs arguing in Parliament, whether they were played or not, and claiming that, making claims about some supposed provisions in the Finance Bill, only for them to be countered and being asked, okay, which is that clause within the Finance Bill? Probably they were contained there previously, but towards the formal presentation, they were redacted or removed from the eventual document. Do you see a game being played here that probably they've just walked into a trap? That yes, probably some clauses were proposed earlier, eventually removed, and then that is what they're coming to argue on in as far as the Finance Bill is concerned.
Good morning, viewers, and let me just say, Fred, I thought differently. I think we have members of Parliament who are not serious with whatever they are doing. If you notice that you can mention a clause that is not there, it means you never did your research well, because copies were there. It was sent to Parliament. So how do you say today there's a clause that was edited? Where was it edited from? You could have accessed a copy. It means you never read. Which copy did you read? Present it out to actually show that wherever that has been brought back has been changed. Mm-hmm. Because that's a serious claim, if you want to say so. And if the first one added and then the second one doesn't, it will be public. We can see it. But now it tells us that many members of Parliament who probably would want to oppose it have never read it well, and therefore it will go on a hearsay. You know, I've come to know that there's many leaders we have are more into deals in government, moving up here and down to make ends meet on their business struggles. But they don't much concentrate on what they need to do in Parliament. Therefore, they just go for a coffee and they get some advice from those who called specialists in it. So they come to the Parliament and use their thinking. They don't read it themselves. So if you read it, and even if you follow the events of the current CS for Treasury, it's been moving from place to place, engaging with the youth and discussing it. You'll notice that all those that were presented in the National Assembly has been discussed. Mm-hmm. And therefore, some of the claims that are out there is just a way that people would want to create emotions within Kenyans and Kenyan youth.
Why do you think they would want to do that? Is it in anticipation of what could happen as they mark the second anniversary of the 2020
actually,
events?
There's no any danger that is going to happen on that day. You know, it is politics. We live in Kenya today that if today we are running for president, all of us, the four of us, and supposedly you become the president of Kenya, I as a team, we become the opposition. And our intention is not to support you to deliver from day one. Mm-hmm. Our intention is to get reasons on why you shouldn't deliver so that we are likely to become the president in the next election. And that's what happens in Kenya today. They'll always pursue anything that will taint you as the head of state, because our intention is we want that job that you have. Mm-hmm. We are not ready. You will never find an opposition today after swearing in that will say, now let's stop politics. Let's support the government that is in place, so for the benefit of a Kenyan. So they confuse Kenyans. If you listen to what Rigiji is saying every day, you don't see any passion to help Kenya. You just see a human being who fights a fellow brother who is in the position today for his own benefit. And that's what happens in Kenya. Politics has become self-interest. There is no interest for the Kenya. Right. Just to give my last comment on that is that we were discussing the other day with friends, and we asking ourselves, in 2002, we had Mzee Moi, Uhuru, and Ruto, Mudavadi on one side. On the other hand, we had Kibaki, Raila, Kalonzo, Choi Saitoti on this other end. In 2007, Raila moved to this other end with Ruto. Uhuru moved the other end with Kibaki. When we came to 2013, Uhuru and Ruto came together. Kalonzo and Raila and Mudavadi went to the other end. In 2017, we found the same Uhuru and Ruto on the other end, Mudavadi, Raila on the other end. In 2022, we have Ruto, Mudavadi on this other end. On the other end, we have Raila, Uhuru. So where is the Kenyan? Where is the youth?
The
same people. So when you study that game, is that those who are not in government will go and paint the government to be bad, so that they look like they have a face to save Kenyans, whereas they're just the same people. So it's either they support it or they get out of, they have new faces in.
Do you see some sense in what he says, in as far as